Salvete sodalers. Andrew here, Andreas Latine. I am the CEO and co-founder of Latinitas Animi Causa, ubi linguae mortuae vivescunt, where dead languages come to life. And I'm here today with you all to explore some of our winter courses, our winter course catalog for 2026. Vix carredere possum nos iam attigis annum bismillesimum vicesimum sextum. I can barely believe it that we made it to 2026 already. I feel older and older every single day. Now, really quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, hi y'all, salvete, so glad you're here. If you're not sure about who we are, if this is your first time seeing our videos, seeing this right here, as I said, I'm Andreas, and Latinitas Animi Causa stands for Latin for fun. Our courses are built on research-backed practices, SLA theory, neuroscience, and everything that helps us learn better as humans, as well as integrating strong amounts of joy, large amounts of joy into learning, because all the research shows that that's where the best learning happens. So today we're going to explore what our courses look like, and people in the chat can feel free to ask questions if anything is unclear about what I'm saying. I'm going to read some of the course descriptions, talk a little bit about what's going to happen in the course, and there's some background music playing that's occasionally going to be ads, so I apologize for that because I'm using a copyright-free stream thing. The Relaxed Movement is the name of the channel, and we thank them for their stream music because it's a vibe and it helps to create sort of an atmosphere. Okay, enough of our exordium here. Let's jump right into the courses. So, boop. Here's our landing page for our website. This is Latinitas Animi Causa, ubi linguae mortuae vivescunt. That's what we're here to do, have dead languages come to life. And if you want to see our winter courses, there's two ways to get there. You have this thing right here, Winter 2026, and you can just hit Take Me to Courses, or if you go to the top here and go to our taberna, our shop tab, and you go to Courses, they open right up. So these are some of our courses for Winter 2026. At this top tab, you can select what language you're most interested in. There's Latin, Ancient Greek, Old English, English, courses conducted in English, and there's Italian this term. I actually don't think there's any term, courses conducted in English this term, but sometimes we have them. And then you can also separate them by novice, intermediate, advanced, or other. So I want to go course by course, talk a little bit about what you're going to learn in that course, who your instructor is. Let me be clear that I'm not an expert in every single course that's here because we have other instructors who teach with us. Well, I myself am teaching 3 different courses this next coming term in winter. I'm not the person who teaches every course. And so the people who are going to know it best are indeed our instructors. I can talk a little bit about it, but if you have further questions, you can always contact us at habesnelac.com/contact. And you can also find that here. If you go to About Us and go to the Contact Us page, you can send us a message there, and we can put you in touch with the instructor so you can ask any relevant questions about pricing, scheduling, curriculum, anything like that. So let's jump into the first course. Our first course, boom, look at this beautiful helmet. What a helmet. What a beautiful helmet. This is Old English, an Old English beginner's course, 0 experience required. If you're interested in Old English texts, and the most salient of which that comes to mind is Beowulf, or even Middle English text, knowing Old English can help you with that if you want to read something like the Canterbury Tales, then this class is going to be fantastic. Our instructor is Graham Garayhama Shepper, who also has his own YouTube channel, which has exploded recently. We are so happy for Graham because he just does such a great job explaining things in Old English and about Old English. Really a deep knowledge and wisdom about these ancient, semi-ancient, somewhat ancient texts. And so his YouTube channel's there, and he's going to be hosting a course that has a class cap size of 15 people. So 15 people can join this course. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger for you all. One sec. Boop, 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 boop. Well, that's a little better, isn't it? That's a little more visible. So 15 people can be in this course. Like I said, no experience previous required. You can come in with 0 knowledge of Old English and learn some Old English, which is absolutely a fantastic opportunity. And the course starts on the 17th. Our term roughly starts on the 11th / like the 5th, depending on what course it is, the 5th or the 6th, and it goes through March 7th. So really the 2nd week of January, roughly, to the 1st to 2nd week of March. Saludos, salve multum etiam, Piotr Wachowski. Piotr, that's Petrus, right? Salve Petre. And this course is priced, and I should talk, sorry, a little bit about this, I apologize. Our courses have 3 different tiers of pricing. Optime, kermetagen, serbunculi. Optime. We have 3 different pricing tiers for our courses. We have a base level supported course price, which is around $200 in total. That's $25 per course hour, which really for this sort of content is frankly a steal. If you look at university credit costs, they're much, much higher. And a lot of our people have a similar education level, sometimes even higher than university professors. So we have a supported tier right here. It's a bottom tier. And that's $200, $25 per course hour. Then here you have your standard, right? $280 total, $35 per course hour. That's the full value rate. It covers the cost of small group instruction. And then finally, we have our sustainer tier, which is $350 total, which is the standard tier plus 25%. What's left over from that price, that $70 difference between these two in this course, actually is used for a later scholarship fund so that we can be able to host scholarships. We're still collecting money for that so that people can join who might not have the same financial access to courses. Because while these courses are indeed affordable, they still could be out of price range for a lot of people, especially those who don't live in the United States, where these courses can seem a lot more expensive than you think, right? So you can pick any one of these, jump in the class, 15 people can fit in, Old English, learn it, live it, love it. Let's head on back to our courses, folks, the next one. So that was our first course in Old English. Next one, Italian for students of Latin novice. So this is going to be taught by Michael Meleto Sweet. His Latin name is Meletus. He goes by Meleto in Italian. And I must say that Meletus is just a super, super dedicated teacher in so many different ways. Oh, salve multum from Central Europe. And greetings also from the United States, from Connecticut. Here, you can learn Italian according with the book L'Italiano secondo il metodo natura, which is Italian according to the nature method. Basically, this in the same vein of Orberg's Lingua Latina per se illustrata, but for Italian. What it's really going to do, though, is leverage your already existent knowledge of Latin, though I don't think you necessarily need to know Latin to be able to take this course. But if you already know some Latin, it's going to leverage that to help you learn Italian, which is just a wonderful thing to do, because who doesn't want to learn one of Latin's daughter languages? So right now, this course is a continuation of a previous course, and it's going to start from capítulo 6 and 7, right? 6, 7, sorry, excuse me, right, from chapters 6 and 7 of that book. Now, while this is a continuation course, if you were to read and engage with chapters up through 6 and 7, I have no doubts that you would be able to join this course. Or if you have some previous knowledge of Italian you'd like to refresh, or if you have deep knowledge of Latin and really just are a really engaged, dedicated, self-disciplined language learner, you could join this class as well. The class cap is 5, and it's on January 13th is when it begins. The times are Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Now, all of the times that are listed are EST, that is the New York time, right? So 6 p.m. New York time, which I know for you Europeans might be a little bit difficult, and we have some courses that are much better for that time frame, but this one's at 6 p.m., which is a really great option for a lot of Americans, at least. All right, active Latin from scratch. You know no Latin? We've got you covered. This is with Victor Kaplun, one of the co-founders of Lupus Alatus, who's just a magnificent spoken Latinist, pedagogue, and human being. And he has this class where he's going to teach you Lingua Latina from scratch. He's not going to be able to go through all of it in this course, simply because it's just not possible to go through all of it in just one course. But you'll be able to go through as much as humanly possible. My understanding is that the goal is to get to somewhere like chapter 16 or something like that. It really depends on the experience of those involved. And this course is primarily designed for 2 categories of learners: those who have grammatical fundamentals of Latin under their belt and are able to even translate AP level text, but realize that they're still missing the ability to read and understand fluently, and those with good metalinguistic knowledge and experience in learning languages, including programming languages, who are ready for the challenge of bringing a dead tongue back to life. So if you perhaps have no experience with Latin, but interest in language learning, this course could be super ideal for you. And then Lingua Latina per se illustrata, the Hans Orberg's Familia Romana will be the book that is used. Minimal translation, high impact, immersive learning setting, copious explanations. The class cap is 4. So you might have noticed the price up here is from $500, right? So for this course, it's a little bit higher because you're going to meet more frequently and the sessions are a little bit longer. But notice the price per session is still $25. So you're going to get a 90-minute session for the same $25 that some hour sessions are. So that's really a great advantage. And so this one at the supported level is 500, standard 700, sustainer 875, which again is sort of a steal. If you look at other intensive lingua latina language options, a lot of them tend to be priced higher or around the same. And for this one, you're going to be able to meet twice a week with hands-on expert instruction going from January 12th to March 20th. And these are going to be meeting at 12:30 p.m., which maybe not as good for Americans. A lot of us are still in our workday. I know I am, so I would not be able to attend this course, but it's great for Europeans. And there's 20 sessions, right? So that means Mondays, Fridays, 10 sessions. And that's why the price is sort of where it's at, a little bit higher than the other courses. And that's totally okay. But this is a great option to really get into your Latin. And also if you maybe want to go through lingua latina with somebody, if you've read it on your own and you want to do it with somebody who has an expert hand with the book and an expert knowledge of Latin, this is a really great opportunity to do that. Like I said, Victor's just a fantastic Latinist, fantastic pedagogue, great human being. Next up, Sermunculi. Well, I can talk about this one because this is one of my courses. So the instructor is me, Andreas Morehouse. And this one is Latin chit-chats. Every single course is going to have prompts and conversational structures to support targeted fluency development, targeted proficiency development, working on, maybe this phrase or that phrase, while also having a specific argumentum, a specific topic around which each conversation is centered. What that means is that you're going to be able to come in and have sort of a solid thing that you're able to conversate about. Now, this is a true test of sort of output capability, or a true opportunity for growth and output capability. So none of the topics are going to be provided ahead of time because it's helping to foster spontaneous production, spontaneous proficiency, not necessarily something you could plan and research and look up. Of course, I'll be there as your resource to guide you with things that you don't know, because I don't expect you to come in knowing all the things you need to be able to say about a topic you might not have seen before. But that said, you will have all the support you need, and you will be able to have a great time learning also how to circumlocute about things you're not sure about. Carmina again says, I took Victor's Phaedrus course last semester. I highly recommend his skill both as a Latinist and as a teacher. We appreciate that so much. And I'm really excited to have you in my Sermunculi class, Carmina again, because it's just a delight to work with you. So thank you so much for that comment about Victor, because he really is fantastic. So this is designed for those who already have some prior Latin speaking experience, not a significant amount. You can come in with no spoken Latin experience if you really just want to try your hand at it. I'm going to meet you where you are. Other people in the room might be higher level proficiency. Other people in the room might be lower level proficiency. And we're going to all come together and still have a conversation and enjoy ourselves. This class is only 45 minutes long, but it's limited to 5 participants. So to keep that sort of intimate setting of really very few people, so everyone gets opportunity for output proficiency development, we keep the class size low. This is going to start January 11th, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is pretty great for both Americans and Europeans. This class is actually already almost full. We only have 2 spots left right now. So if you're interested in getting your sermunculi on, getting some chit-chats in Latin, then now's the time. Ne lente festinetis, ne lente festina veritis. All right, next course. That's our first row. Next up, ancient Greek. Quid melius, what better? The ammenon rather. So Platonic relationships, easy conversational Greek for beginner and intermediate learners, novice to intermediate, with Roberto Salazar. Speaking of also wonderful spoken Latinists and spoken Hellenists, as well as great pedagogues, Roberto Salazar is going to be running this course, not where you're specifically reading Plato, but you're using Plato's language to have conversation, everyday idioms, turns of phrase, and conversational structures that are drawn from his dialogue. So you're not specifically there reading Plato, which is fun and enjoyable in its own right, but you're going to have structured dialogues and as well as opportunities for output for, intermediate and beginner learners to be able to speak ancient Greek using Platonic language, which is often what people desire anyway. A lot of people like to be able to speak in a Platonic mode. Attic Greek is heralded as the quote-unquote desired dialect of Greek. Whether that's something we should be targeting or not is up for debate, but certainly at least Plato is held up as one of the gold standards of Greek. You're returning to learn Latin after 20 years? Wow. Tibi gratulor. Congratulations, Petremi. That's something that's really amazing because, you know, taking a break from Latin is sometimes necessary in life, but returning to it, that takes some, that's what I'm looking for. I can't find the word in English, but it takes some bravery, right? To be able to return something after 20 years and be like, I'm coming back to this. And it's awesome. And some dedication. There's another word I'm looking for I can't find. But class cap is 8, so 8 people can fit in this course. Great opportunities for learning. And they're on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Great for Europeans, great for Americans, maybe difficult for West Coasters in the United States. That's around 7 a.m. But if you're an early bird and you want to get your early bird Greek on, this is your space to do so. So yeah, this course is also on the 200, 280, 350 scale. Like we said, feel free to pay supported. It's for students, caretakers, and anyone stretched right now. We understand. And then there's standard and sustainer rates, right? Saue multum, Asdrubal, gaudemos te adesso. Sorry that we're speaking English today. We're just going through our courses. Want to make sure we speak as perspicuously as possible. So back to courses. That's some ancient Greek speaking for you. Next up, Echoes from the Grave, Erichtho, and the Voice of Latin Epic, Intermediate. This is also with our friend Victor Kaplun, Victor Capellanus. This one is tiered from 250 up because it is going to be meeting on Saturdays at 3 p.m. for an hour and a half each, 10 sessions. So you're still getting the $25 per session, but there's 10 sessions instead of 8. And you're going to be reading through the tiered reader Erichtho Tartarorum Terror, which is a wonderful tiered reader developed by both Victor Kaplan and Jessica McCormick, co-founders of Lupus Alatus. And you're going to be able to get my understanding is last time that we were able to give a free copy of the book alongside those who sign up for this course. So if you sign up for this course and you go through Erichthos Tartarorum Terror with Victor Kaplan, then you're going to get yourself also a free copy of this wonderful resources tiered reader. I cannot recommend it enough. Honestly, it's a fantastic book. It's on our list of things to do for the Locke resource review. But it's just, it's time. Kermit Agans, do you ever plan to teach ancient Greek from scratch for beginners through Locke? I would gladly take a course like that. I have no background in ancient Greek. That is a plan to do. Currently, we're just stretched a little thin with our resources, but we are looking to provide that exact thing. Yes, that's an absolutely great question. That is a plan for the future, just not for this term. But I appreciate you asking because we know that people want it. I mean, I would love to teach it myself. If I didn't have a full-time high school job, that's what I would love to just be teaching these courses. But unfortunately not currently financially sustainable, but in the future we hope to. This is a really great book, and these are from Lucan's, by the way, De Bello Civili, or his Parsalia as it's called, from book 6 with Erichtho. All right, and those are on Saturdays at 3 p.m. so around 9 p.m. for most of mainland Europe, as well as a lot of sections of Africa as well. And around obviously 3 p.m. for the United States Eastern Standard. All right, so really great for those who are intermediate and bridging into literature. Next up, back to our courses. We have Erasmus's Colloquia, a crash course in wit and wisdom, intermediate to advanced, with our very own Victor Kaplan. He's back again. He's going to be going through the colloquia familiaria, which were used back in the day for sort of like teaching young people Latin. But they're really a fantastic resource for so many reasons. I haven't met a single spoken Latinist or really like spoken Latinist / active Latin scholar who hasn't recommended the use of Erasmus. It's intermediate to advanced, so it's not super easy, and that's okay. But it's going to be a really great opportunity for those to engage with Erasmus's colloquies with support. And the class cap size here is 6. Starting January 15th, Thursdays and Saturdays, 18 sessions starting at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. on Saturdays, 10 a.m. on Thursdays. And I'm sure we could work something out. If you have availability on one day but not another, contact us and we'll see what we can do to support you in your schedule to allow you to sort of get some of the best of this, because maybe you're available Saturdays but not Thursdays. We can talk, Victor, Locke, Ilsa, myself, and whoever's interested, to make sure that we provide whatever support is possible for that, changing prices or making sure we can meet that need. And here, of course, because you're getting more sessions, you're getting 18 sessions, it's 456, 37, 80 are your 3-tier prices. So you want to read Erasmus? Absolutely fantastic. Read it, read it, read it. Worth the read. I actually listened to an Erasmian dialogue just today. I read an Erasmian dialogue just today, this morning. It was super fun. All right, next up, we have the Latin legend of Pesce, Nick Fish. This is a text I knew 0% about until this course was offered by Plautus. So Plautus not only teaches Italian with us, but also is a spoken Latinist par excellence, has been speaking Latin for longer than I have, and who lives in a pineapple under the sea, Pesce. This is a text from the 12th century of a merman named Pesce that are attested in various medieval sources. Plautus has a specific interest and specialty in medieval texts. So if you want to read about Nick Fish, a really cool legend that's like told to Italian kids even today, this is a really wonderful place to do so. It is on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Another evening course, capped at 6, 14th to the 4th, 8 sessions at our normal pricing rate. All right. So I think this is actually really cool. I would love to, I will say this, and I actually mean this. I'm not just saying this as some sort of like, you know, marketing ploy or whatever. I want to be very clear and sincere with all of you that the reason why I'm showing you all these things is because I ardently believe that all of these would be valuable for anyone interested in learning Latin, ancient Greek. And if I had the time and the funds myself, I would be taking every single course that didn't conflict with one another time-wise, with the exception, of course, of maybe a Lingua Latina from scratch. I don't necessarily need that course personally, but like, even though I'm not an intermediate here, I would love to learn about Pesce and see what Plautus has to offer about that text. Because while I could read the text on my own, I'm sure he has insight I don't, right? And that's true for the Erasmian colloquies as well. Even though I could read the colloquies on my own, and I do, right? There's probably stuff that Victor knows that I don't. Same thing with Plato. I know a lot of Platonic language. I'm sure there's stuff that Roberto knows that I don't. So in a perfect, amazing world, I'd take every single course available myself, right? But that's just not the way that life works. All right. Familia aeterna, right? Back to here, we're going to an intensive course, picking up with 32 of Familia Romana and going through the first part of Roma aeterna. This might be the perfect bridge that a lot of you are looking for. A lot of people find difficulty with the bridge between Orberg and well, I should say, sorry, Familia Romana and the Roma aeterna, 2 of Orberg's works, because there is a significant gap. And Victor Kaplun is going to do a great job of supporting people who move on to Roma aeterna so that they don't feel as overwhelmed. Because Roma aeterna is an amazing resource full of adapted Latin and authentic Latin. And in the very beginning, a pretty significant description of Rome. And here, I think that you will have the great resource of having someone there to lead you through it and keep you motivated and excited to go through it, because reading Roma aeterna on your own can be dense and difficult. So this level's for intermediate, basically people who have already taken their way through Familia Romana and getting through that intermediate gap that a lot of us feel. The class cap is 4, so you're going to get a personalized learning experience, 24 sessions, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. Great for Europeans, maybe a little difficult for some Americans, but email us, let us know. I know Victor is super excited to learn with anybody and might be able to find some sort of workaround of some sort. Same sort of price situation, it's per session, so you're getting 24 sessions at that price, supported, standard, sustainer. And this course is going to be intensive, but it's also going to be really, really rewarding. It's really difficult to bridge that intermediate gap. I mean, I personally, this is going to be something that I don't want to sound like a humble brag or whatever. I never really experienced the intermediate plateau that most people experienced. I have felt nothing but pretty intense rise. It's only recently that I've sort of felt a little bit of a taper, a little bit of a plateau, but that's not due to resources. That's due to time and mental energy. And I know that about myself. And that's just because I devoured everything I could that was nailed down, and I took courses like this one. Next up, Appleton's Fabulae. Speaking of great things to bridge your gap, right? After reading Lingua Latina per se illustrata, jump into Appleton's Fabulae. And this course is with Holly Annula Russo, who, by the way, has her own YouTube channel. Holly Russo and Corrado Russo both have their own YouTube channels. Corrado Russo is Holly's husband. And Holly is an incredible instructor. She's supportive, she's caring, she's kind, she's intelligent, she speaks well, like fantastic. I cannot recommend her courses enough, cannot recommend her as an instructor enough, because really, like this difficult little bridge that we talk about, this fabulae work is really fun to help yourself get through it. So like that little intermediate gap I was just talking about. So in this short online course, you're going to read the fabulae virginibus puerisque destinatae. Really great. Okay. As turbasa nunc habeo parvam puellam in domo nata ab uno anno et non habeo tempo sed in futurum mihi interesse est ad lingua Latinam discendam. Of course, we understand that. It's okay that you're not here now, like that you can't yet, we should say, but you're here with us, which we really appreciate, and the live stream. And you know, like if you can't participate in the courses, which we totally get, if you could share them with your friends, that'd make a huge difference for us, because we really want people to have amazing, equitable opportunities for language learning. And we humbly believe that we provide some of the best out there. And really, we just strive to. If there's something that we can learn from, we learn from it. So Appleton's Fabulae, this course is fantastic, again, for bridging that intermediate gap. And Holly is just an incredibly supportive and docta instructor, docta, educated, like intelligent. All right. Next up, Carmina Cotidiana, intermediate to advanced with Victor Kaplan. He's back again. Victor Noster. So we have a lot of different sort of poetry for the ancient world. We know that we have epic poetry, we have lyric poetry, we have all kinds of things. But some poems, that like the ones that are from the Appendix Cotidiana and some other things that you might find in Sermones Romani, are poetry of everyday stuff. So this is really cool, is that you're going to read a poetry about everyday stuff. Now, that might be a little more difficult, which is why it's intermediate to advanced, because most of the works that we read aren't really targeted toward everyday stuff. When you read Virgil's Aeneid, you're not necessarily reading about, I don't know, bread making, for instance. Or even pasturing, if you're talking about the Aeneid. You might read some of that in the Georgics and Eclogues, right? But as he says right here, a great follow-up to reading Georgics Eclogues are these pieces right here. So it's a really wonderful opportunity to learn some daily life stuff, daily life vocabulary, excuse me, in classical Latin. 8 can fit in this course, January 18th to the 22nd, Sundays at 12:30. So a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Commodious, commodum, little easier, little better. Sorry, I sometimes struggle. I've been speaking Latin and Spanish all day with my students, and so I don't know what language I'm functioning in right now. Sundays at 12:30, 10 sessions, each hour-and-a-half sessions. It's a little bit more convenient. That's what I was looking for American learners, but also for Europeans, which is absolutely fantastic, as well as, you know, Africans and folks who are in these general time zones. I keep saying Europe, and I apologize for that. I should be thinking of far beyond that as well. And here are our different tiers for this course, right? All right. Next up, courses. Boop, 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 boop. These next two are my courses. So we're gonna, salve multum, lo, I forgot. Salve, gaudemus de audesse. This course, Gellius's Greatest Hits, Volume 1. The hope is to create a series of courses. Aulus Gellius is one of my favorite authors of all time in classical Latin. Though there's debate as to what his Latin would be called. He's Silver Age, is not Golden Age, whatever. His Latin's great. I love him. And he has a compendium of just a bunch of stuff that he put together. He wrote a commonplace book of like, this is cool, let me write it down. This is cool, let me write it down. And the rationale for writing those things down was the order in which he found them and thought they were cool. So as a result, we have some really cool stories from Aulus Gellius. Some of them like Bucephalus, or like why we wear our wedding rings on this finger, sometimes called the vena amoris or the nervus amoris, right? Oh, wonderful, Lord, I forgot. I'm glad that this timing worked out for you, that you can figure out what course you'd like to do. And so I absolutely love Aulus Gellius. And this one is for speakers who are intermediate. If you want a personalized reading experience to a class cap of 6, so 6 people and myself, obviously, we'll be meeting on Sundays at 1:30 p.m., 8 sessions, 1 hour each, at these pricings, right? To read Aulus Gellius, and we're going to go through as much as we can get through. I have pre-selected a bunch of great texts, ones that I think are just super, super fun. But I'm also really excited to talk about this next course. So yes, this is ones who are interested in participating actively and heavily in the course, maybe practicing their ability to interpreting texts in classical Latin. The other course I'm excited to show you, though, it's basically, it's similar because it's Gellius, but it's for listeners only. A lot of people are busy. I know I am, right? And sometimes I've signed up for courses just because I want to be able to see what happened in it, but I don't have the time to participate live. And that's what this course is designed to do. As a result, the price is reduced. It's half the price. What you're going to get is every single class you come to, you're essentially coming in as an auditor. You're coming in as a listener. You can feel free to ask questions and participate in the chat of Zoom. That's the platform that we primarily use, though the platform varies by instructor. I use Zoom. We've had instructors use Google Meet in the past as well. You can feel free to participate in the chat, ask questions, so on and so forth. So you still get that participation aspect if you participate live. But if you can't participate live and you just want recordings and you want access to these things, you can sign up for this course. Or if you're like, I'm not so sure that I'm ready to start speaking Latin, but I kind of want to hear what it's like live in a text, this is what this course is for. So we're going to read a lot of Gellius passages, some similar to the other class, some different, and we're going to go through them entirely in Latin, but I'm going to be speaking the whole time. And this class cap size is 100. 100 people can sign up for this course, which would be just the coolest thing ever. I can't tell you. I would love nothing more than to have a class size of 100, to have so many people excited about that. And like, listen, I'm like, it's okay if we don't have 100 people there. I'd be happy to have 3 people there. That's fine too. But it'd be really cool to just have a sort of a live auditorium of Latin, which is something that I've been able to do sort of in person at different events, but not as much online. So this is January 11th through March 1st, Mondays, 5 p.m. That is 5 p.m. EST. It's gonna be a great opportunity for you to come and do some Latin. So the prep for Latin combo with Miletus last semester, loved it. Oh, thank you so much, Loa for Goth. So Eke, prep for Latin combo with Miletus last semester, loved it. We're getting live testimonials in the chat of people who have enjoyed their time in the courses, which we deeply appreciate. I also took a course last semester actually with Corey Russo for the Somnium Scipionis, and though I know the text very well, I just had a great time reading with friends, and that's what I also need a lot of the time. This course can also be for people who, like, you know, I don't know if you're like me in this, but sometimes I just need a little bit of accountability. I need someone to tell me I need to be somewhere by a certain time, and this course can also help you with that. Any of our courses can sort of help you with that. So that's why this course is a little bit cheaper. It's a really great introduction for those who might not be able to do it any other way. All right. Next up, we're going to go to Encountering Ovid's Metamorphoses, Intermediate to Advanced, with Jacobus. Jacobus is a wonderfully learned spoken Latinist, honestly like polyglot, right? Speaks Latin, speaks Spanish, speaks German, speaks English, speaks ancient Greek, incredibly doctus. And in this course, you're going to go through some of the big hit episodes of Ovid's Metamorphoses. Here, for instance, Apollo and Daphne, Daedalus and Icarus, Pygmalion, Bacchus and Philemon. But you're also going to choose the episodes you do together in the first course, and it could be an introduction to Ovid, but it can also be sort of like, you know, you've read Ovid before, but maybe in a grammar translation setting, and now you want to do it in Latin, or maybe you've read Ovid before and you're like, I didn't catch everything as much as I'd like, and Jacobus Banks is going to do, I know, an incredible job to show you all what you will maybe not have seen before. I would love to take this course as a person who loves reading Ovid in their spare time, but maybe doesn't have the time to do the academic research, because Jacobus Banks is also acquiring their PhD. And so it does a great deal of academic literacy as well. So this course is going to be on Sundays at 4 p.m., January 18th, March 8th. So in the evening at 4 p.m., maybe not too late for folks who are in the other time zones elsewhere. And here, $25 per course hour per course session. Okay, so if you want to read the Metamorphoses, recommend it heavily. And like I said, Jacobus Banks, fantastic instructor, absolutely great. Oh, we have an ad coming from Wix, which is rather ironic because we use Squarespace to build our website. All right, intensive Latin, Familia Romana from the middle. A lot of us get started with Familia Romana right in the very beginning. We get through chapters like, you know, 1 through 10 maybe, or 1 through 12. And then we hit a wall. 13 is a big wall for a lot of people. 16 is another big wall. And this course is going to start from chapter 20. It's going to start from one of the later chapters, take you through Familia Romana intensively from the middle. So this is going to be great for people who maybe need a reread of Familia Romana, those who have grammar translation backgrounds and want to start with something a little more difficult than Roma in Italia est, Italia in Europa est. That's okay, right? If you want to start with something that's a little more literary-like, this is a great opportunity to do that. Oh, we're up to 15 viewers. Yo, sapete omnes, gademos vos adesso. We're so happy you're all here. So for this course, you'll be able to start with Familia Romana, something a little more literary, and go from the middle forward. This course, as it's more intensive and meets more often, Wednesdays, Saturdays, 12:30 p.m. And again, as I said before, maybe you can make the Saturdays, but the Wednesdays are tough. Reach out to us and we'll see if we can do something to accommodate your schedule, do something to accommodate what you're doing. Maybe we can figure something out between Victor, Locke, and you to make sure that we can meet your learning needs. I know that Victor's just super excited to teach, and again, a fantastic instructor. Cannot recommend him enough. 20 sessions. So 20 sessions means that this price looks a little heavier, looks a little higher, but that's because you're getting more sessions for that price. And a huge bang for your buck. You're going to start from 20. You're going to go all the way through. You're going to learn grammar entirely in classical Latin. It's a great opportunity. Salve megas eroxopto ferias tuas optimas forre, gratias tibi maximas ago, idem etiam tibi ex animo meo immo exopto, ipse enim ferii sum fructurus proxima precipues settimana, sed spero fori ut omnia faustissima tibi contingant ferias celebranti vere Italiam non pontes sequor placet nomen multum. All right. So sorry for the little Latin interruption. I mean, I shouldn't be sorry. Latin's the best. Next up, everyday talk through Plautus's monster tale Mostellaria, novice intermediate, Jacobus Banks. Jumping back in again. So Plautus's monster tale, the Mostellaria, is a really cool work, and Plautus is just a wonderful gold mine for spoken Latin and for learning how Romans probably talked roughly every day. And like, let's be very clear here. I am not saying that what Plautus, said was daily Latin. I'm not saying that at all, because it's simply not true. Plautus's Latin was not the same as daily speech. It's in meter, for one, which means immediately it's artificial in some form or fashion. It's a piece of art. It's artificial. That's totally true. That said, there's something in the Sermo Plautinus that just like sapit aliquid quotidiani. It just tastes and smacks of something daily, right? And really, we think that if there are things that were going to be daily said, this is one of the best fontes to find it in. And a lot of it's supported in graffiti too. So you're going to focus on extensive reading rather than very close reading. So you're going to read it and enjoy it. It's going to be fantastic. It's a fairly accessible comedy as far as Plautus goes. Saturdays at noon, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, January 17th to March 7th. 8 sessions, priced as before, $25 per course session. And like I said, Jacobus Banks, wonderful spoken Latinist, per doctus. All right, next up is going to be also with Jacobus Banks, jumping into Latin astronomy of the scientific revolution, Kepler, Galileo, and Bruno. This is something that I know fascinatingly little about, and one of the courses I would be most excited to sign up for to learn about something I don't know anything about. I shouldn't say anything, but really, like, this is an incredible opportunity to read about Renaissance perspectives of astronomy, Kepler, Giordano Bruno, Galileo, right? And what they had to say about the philosophy therein. I have no idea even what's happening in this image, to be honest. I am not satis doctus huius rei. I'm not learned enough in this. And so I would love to, but I'd love to take this course, excuse me. It's a really great opportunity to learn. So this class has a 10 cap, great amount of space, January 17th to March 7th. Saturdays, 5 p.m., 8 sessions, right? Great little evening course. Maybe you have a little dinner, go to this course, or to do this course and then have some dinner as your digest thief from this wonderful, wonderful opportunity for learning about science and Latin. There's no background in science required. No background in Neo-Latin is required. Both of those are going to be taught with you, right? Taught to you. Like, you're going to work on it together with Jacobus Banks. And this is one of their specialties. So really one of the best opportunities to learn about scientific Latin. Next up, Seneca's passionate Medea, intermediate to advanced, also with Jacobus Banks. So Seneca not only wrote Stoic philosophical works, as we often know about, but he also wrote plays in Latin, and Medea is one of them. And it's one of the tragedies that he's written. And I've read a large amount of it, not all of it, and I've absolutely loved all of it. So I recommend strenuously that you choose this course, and there's no background required in Seneca, in drama, in anything. It's all going to be taught to you. It's maybe if you've never read Roman tragedy before, this is a great opportunity to do so. If you aren't aware of what Seneca's rhetorical style is in tragedy, this is a place to learn it, right? This is something really great. I should also note here that students are warmly encouraged, but by no means required, to read the short play in English translation before or alongside the course. It's just going to help with the expedience of reading it as an extensive reading activity. Our reading is going to be close, but not to excess. The goal is we will get what's going on and appreciate Seneca's rhetoric and artistry while enjoying the story and not getting bogged down in philology. Because as much as all of us, a lot of us, I should say, not all of us, but a lot of us really love the minutiae linguae Latina. I know I do. Sometimes it's kind of in the way of enjoying the work. So in the goal of this one, you'll stop here and there, but the goal really is to read extensively, very extensively. A wonderful opportunity. All right, we're almost done with our winter catalog, and really I just want to take a moment to say, I am so appreciative of all the people teaching this term. We had amazing offerings last term, amazing offerings this term. I just am astonished every term how many people come in and with new, fresh, fascinating things that they want to teach. I've never heard of Pesce. So cool. The idea of teaching with simplified Platonic dialogues, fantastic, right? Carmina cotidiana, absolutely great. So, and I'm deeply appreciative to every one of our instructors, their doctrina, their humanitas, their latinitas, or graecitas, or anglicitas, about Old English, right? And what they contribute to Locke, because Locke really grounds itself and wants to ground itself in its community members. That includes all of you who are here with us today. And our community members are also supported by the pillars that are these instructors for our winter courses. So I'll stop there, but I just deep gratitude and admiration for these wonderful instructors. And that takes us to the last couple here. So how to annoy Greek people, more of Theophrastus's characters. I actually took the first iteration of this with Roberto Salazar, and it was absolutely fantastic. Theophrastus is an amazing writer in ancient Greek, and Roberto does a great job of leading you through the text and making you feel supported. My spoken Greek at that time was pretty low compared to what it usually is, because I've been teaching Latin and Spanish primarily for such a long time. But he just does such a great job preparing presentations, preparing visual aids and supports to make sure you know exactly what's going on. And it's a really fun text. If you haven't heard of it, Theophrastus's characters is basically just him being and here's the type of person that exists. Here's what the flatterer does. And he talks about what the flatterer does. Here's what this person does, and talks about what this person does. This is intermediate to advanced, so it might be a little bit more difficult for those who have, not done ancient Greek in the past spoken, but a really great opportunity. Fun text. Really fun. 8-person cap, January 17th through March 7th, Saturdays at 11 a.m. What a convenient time for so many different people. Even for folks on the entire other side of the world, right? For instance, in Eastern Asia, this would be 11 p.m. Maybe a little late, but maybe manageable for folks who are there. So special cheers are required. Theophrastus' characters. There's a recommendation of a book that you will purchase, which will be sent. The recommendation will be sent by the instructor himself ahead of the course. But also the text is provided in a Word doc. Just a recommendation that you pick up the book as well, which I also recommend, honestly. It's nice to have. And same thing, course hour, $25 per course hour per course session, $8, 8 sessions, not $8. And then the final course. Here we go. I'm just gonna take a quick sip. Marvelous Beasts and Prodigies, Latin Riddles for Oral Comprehension Advanced. And this is also with Roberto Salazar. Australia, exactly, Laura, I forgot. Off the May. Thank you also. I apologize, folks. When mentioning various areas of the world, I'm trying to be as all-encompassing as possible, but I seem to not be as good at that today. I did also teach a full day of school, so my brain is a little bit droopy. But in this course, right, you're going to learn about marvelous beasts and prodigies, Latin riddles for oral comprehension. This is a really fascinating course that I'm just going to read the description. Strange creatures, elusive clues, and deceptive Latin. This course trains your ears to catch them all. Building on the auditory methods of a previous course, the Festina Lente course, which is a course that was supposed to be like understanding Latin at high levels of speed. Sessions begin with an unknown excerpt recited aloud without looking at the text. Your task, follow the Latin as it unfolds and guess which animal, object, creature, or phenomenon hides behind the description. No scripts, no retroactive parsing, just real-time comprehension. We then unpack the riddle together, focusing on lexical hints, word order cues, metaphors, and the strategy of reading Latin through sound. Over time, you'll develop a sharper instinct for continuous spoken Latin, expand your descriptive vocabulary, and learn to decode imagery on the fly. A playful and immersive approach to Latin listening, full of marvels, monsters, and linguistic surprises. That's pretty cool. This is for advanced, right? Because you need to be able to understand sort of text given at that speed. January 1st through March 4th, so it's starting on New Year's Day. I'll confirm that with the instructor to make sure that's correct. And Wednesdays at 10 a.m., right? So maybe difficult for some United States folks, but reach out. We'll talk about the stuff with the instructor, right? And we can see if we can figure something out. Same idea. It's $25 at the supported rate per course hour, $35 for the standard rate, sustainer, 25% above that. So those are our courses. Really, really amazing courses being offered. Old English, Italian, Latin from nothing, Latin already acquired, ancient Greek, something really for, I think, just about everybody, well, at least everybody in Latin and maybe burgeoning into ancient Greek. Those who are interested in learning Old Norse from nothing, and folks who have some Latin maybe and want to do some Italian. Those are our courses for winter 2026. And I'm super excited to be teaching the courses that I'm teaching. The Aulus Gellius for Listeners course is the first course of its kind that we're offering. We've already had a pretty large number of signups, which is really cool. And I'm really excited to be trying out some new formats, some new instructional techniques in my other courses that I've been honing and developing, because I mean, I spend an exorbitant amount of my time not only honing my ability in speaking in Latin, but also in teaching second languages in general. It's deeply important to me to be acquainted with the research, what best practices are for learning, and it's the same for our instructors. We're interested in creating a warm, welcoming, fun, engaging, and effective learning environment. So, Dixie, that's what I have to say about courses. I can open up the chat for any questions, comments. We already had some questions and comments in here, including some folks who said that they absolutely love the courses they took, which is magnifique. We love that. And a thank you to all of you for being here today. We have some live viewers with us today, which is fantastic. And it's really great. I kind of love these streams when I have time to do them, when I get to go through our courses, because I just get to be, again, astonished at what we have to offer. Which, like, you know, as Ilsa and I go through the offerings as they come in, and we speak with the instructors about everything, you know, we're still astonished a second time through, and that's pretty nice to be bis astonished, as we might say. So I actually will need to get going in a few minutes, because my son has a concert today, a winter concert, at our school. So I'm going to be going to that concert, which I'm very excited to go see. But I can stick around for a few minutes for any folks who have questions, comments, or anything they'd like to say in Latin, in English, in ancient Greek, about any of the courses that I mentioned. In fact, I'll switch back to the display here so you can see sort of what's going through. And if you have questions also about what course might suit you best based on your own personal experience, let us know. Again, you can reach out to us anytime here, about us, contact us. You hit contact, your name, your email address, your message, right? And that helps us. So Kermit Agayans has to say, I'm physically holding myself back from signing up for too many courses. I overtaxed myself last semester, but the Aulus Gellius one sounds so fun. It's hard to resist signing up for it. Yeah, I love Aulus Gellius. I think that he's underread at the academic level, but like any spoken Latinist I met also feels similar to me, that he's just a really, really cool and wonderful font of information. I just absolutely love him. I just think he always has something really cool to show. So I do love that. Yeah, you can sign up for the Gellius course. And remember, like, you know, if you sign up for the one for listeners, oh, what happened? Why is the chat always showing now? My apologies, folks. I think I might have messed something up. Oh, well, that's okay for now. Remember, if you choose the one for listeners, you also can just have the recordings. And the goal will be after that to take those recordings and package them for sale later too, so that people will be able to have them later as well. So if you want to be in the course speaking, that's going to happen live and that's going to be exclusive to this term. But if you want to also have access to those recordings to come to and so on and so forth, and have them before it takes the time to package them up later, you can sign up for the listeners course, right? And that will be available to you. And those who sign up for that course will also get some additional exclusive resources that, when repackaged later, will not be necessarily given out. So something to food for thought for those who are interested in the Aulus Gellius for listeners only course. Really, we want to make sure that we have courses available for every sort of person, those who are insanely busy like me, and those who like want or have the mental space, the energy, the time, whatever it might be, to devote to just studying ancient languages, like everything in between, right? A lot of us have other things that we do every single day, day jobs and whatever, and we want to enjoy our reading as well. Like, I find myself like deeply looking for, like, deeply desiring time to read in Latin and ancient Greek, and sometimes I just sign up for a course so I can have it, you know. And I certainly wouldn't want you to spread yourself too thin, to overtax yourself. I think it's very smart to think of that, right? What the ancient Greeks say, they said two things. They said "gnoti se auto," know thyself, and "meden agan," nothing in excess, right? So "ne nimium cupere" for "meden agan," which is like, you know, nothing in excess. That means don't desire too much, but you get the idea. And then "gnoti se auto noscete," know thyself, right? Know what you need. Take care of yourself. Your humanitas. Your humanitas is more important than anything else. All right, folks. With that, I'm going to get going. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Comment on this video below what course you're most excited for. And if you could take one, but can't take one now, which one would you most be excited to take? Also, you can comment what sort of courses you'd like to see that we don't have listed here. So for instance, Kermetagens, the Optime very well mentioned that he'd like a ancient Greek from scratch course, right? Totally something that we'd like to have in our catalog. If there's a course you don't see here that you'd like to see, let us know that below too, okay? All right, folks, I'm gonna get going to my son's concert. Thank you all so much for being here today. We love all of you and we care deeply for your feedback, so let us know whatever you can, okay? Curate vos, ut quam optime interim valeates. Hopefully we'll be live this Sunday for some Latin gaming streaming, so stay tuned.